Hi, my name is Viio. I want to give you a brief introduction into value sales, just in a couple of minutes, just to show what value sales is, how it relates to your business, your customer's business, and why that should be of importance for you. First of all, what is value sales? Well, for me, value sales is participating in developing and enabling your customer to create value throughout their business processes. So in essence, to help your customer perform better somehow and so forth. In order to do this, of course, we need to understand how the customer actually looks at the purchase. How do they categorize the purchase? What type of a purchasing process do they apply? Who is involved in the purchasing process? How can we effectively help them achieve what they are aiming at? These are aspects of value sales. So value-based selling and value sales is not just a new technique of how to trick the customer into purchasing something from us that they eventually perhaps don't even need. So first of all, I think we need to understand the purchasing process, what it looks like for a customer. Okay? So value sales. First point, I think, is to understand how does our customers categorize their purchase. And in order to understand this and to illustrate this to executives, to managers, and operational people and experts in companies, I often use the purchasing portfolio, which looks as follows. The customer is actually looking at two dimensions when buying something. They are looking at the strategic importance of the purchase for their company going outwards to their customers. So basically ranging from being low to high. And then on the other dimension, we have the difficulty of substitution or supply risk, also purchasing, people usually call it. So let's put here difficulty of substitution, ranging again from low to high. Of course, we have something in the middle, but let's just assume the word looks like this so that we have low to high alternatives. Then this generates actually a nice 2x2 portfolio for us. So this generates a quadruple for us. We have the low corner, where the customer is actually looking at the strategic importance of the purchase being low for them, for their output. So low in importance in terms of purchasing hierarchy for them. And also easy to substitute. Yeah. So this is something which the customer will call a routine purchase. It's they can easily purchase from basically anybody on the market, and there's supply in abundance. In case we are in the low importance, high difficulty of substitution corner, we usually call it a bottleneck or a critical item. So a bottleneck, which means that the customer feels that there is only one supplier or two suppliers perhaps in this space, and they are kind of forced or bound to buy from one of these one or two suppliers perhaps. What might you bring here is the fact that you might have a patent, you might have a dominant market position, or you might have some kind of means of legislative or something like this which actually makes you into this corner, enables you to be there. And then we have the high importance, low difficulty of substitution, which actually refers to a leverage purchase. A leverage purchase means that the customer is basically trying to get as low price as possible, a large amount of volume and perhaps better quality than normally they would have assumed to get. All these kinds of things. Okay? And then we have the high corner, which is important for them, but at the same time it's also difficult to replace. We call this a strategic purchase. Now, for any sensible, why is this important for us? We're in sales, right? So why should we care about purchasing? Well, because this enables us to understand how the customer is actually looking at the world and looking at us. In case we are here in the routine purchase, customers will shop around and try to look for the best deal. In case we're in the bottleneck, they will probably try to get a reduction of the supply risk by finding another supplier also in addition to us, perhaps a dual vendor strategy or a triple vendor strategy and so forth. So, and also here in the leverage item, the customer is probably trying to get an efficient purchase from us by optimizing the supply. In the strategic corner, any sensible purchasing department, purchasing team was probably looking at the possibility to partner with this kind of a supplier. So that sounds good, doesn't it? In case we look at it from the seller's perspective, what does it mean? Well, it means that we can't have one size fits all. We can't have just one sales strategy which would cater for all these different 4 areas of possibilities. So we need to have a little bit more detailed and focused approach. We've heard about product sales, we have heard about solution sales, we have heard about consultative sales, and we also heard about value sales and value-based selling. And all these kind of nicely fits into this model because here the customer is just focusing on buying a product, buying something quickly from us and without as little involvement as possible from them. So we should be focusing on product sales in this corner. And there, of course, we can create value to our customer by making it easy, efficient, effective for them, and also fun to buy from us. Buying should always be fun, as it basically always is. In the bottleneck area, we know that the customer within some point is trying to get rid of us, perhaps. They want to have a second vendor. So we might want to take a solution approach. Solution sales. And that refers to, in this case, of course, there are many definitions of it and so forth. It refers to that we are actually focusing on selling not only the core product to the customer, but also something which has, in addition to it, some other aspects, some other elements, some applications on top of it, perhaps, and so forth. In the leverage item, there we should focus on somehow helping the customer to add value to them. And in order to make them understand, perhaps, that this is not just a purchase for them, this is not just a leverage purchase, perhaps there is something more. Often innovative solutions are in this corner in the first instance. So we need to actually help the customer, educate them, teach them, and so forth. So consultative sales fits here well. Consultative sales. And in the fourth corner, where we have the high, where we have the strategic purchase for the customer, there we should place our best salespeople, our best efforts, and so forth. So value sales works there pretty well, and it's actually very usable in that corner. So value sales. And moving like the, or actually looking at the world like this, we know that within some time the customer wants to cut out maybe 50% of our business from this field because they're looking at another vendor, other strategies and so forth, or other dual vendor strategies, for example, triple vendor strategies. Up here, a little bit the same applies, that the customer is probably using our free consulting and free training and free education that we provide them kindly, and they are probably satisfied with that. But the problem for us as a sales organization is that that drains our sales margin and our profits down. When that happens, somebody will of course raise their voice and ask that we do something about it. So what we can actually effectively do before that happens to an organization, we can see, okay, how can we get around this problem? In case the customer is not willing to pay for the service we are providing, we should actively try to move the customer in one way or the other. So we should actually, in case the customer is not willing to pay for that, doesn't see the value in it, well, we should maybe try to move the customer into this corner. Do product sales. Do it maybe online or through younger salespeople, more junior salespeople and so forth, less experienced ones, and use the most important resources for value sales. Or we might educate the customer and get them to understand that it might be valuable for them to move into the corner of viewing us as a partner, as an equal partner, as an important strategic partner for them. Again here, in the bottleneck, in solution sales, where we conduct solution sales, but the customer still wants to at some point get rid of us, before that happens, we could actually actively try to see, okay, so that we're not caught by surprise, basically. Start planning ahead, okay, maybe we have to move the customer relationship in this direction towards the product focus, or maybe we can move them into the strategic purchase corner by making it more important for them, or making them understand why this could be of importance for them. So effectively what we're trying to achieve is plot the purchases like the buyer is doing. They're plotting their purchases over time somewhere along that line, which they call the balance of power. Equally, we should do that in order to match the ways how we are working and how the customer is working, in order to make the value emerge for the customer, to try to accurately pinpoint these things for the customer so that it fits our world also. Okay? And this is what value sales is about. It's about a dynamic way of approaching sales and the customer and seeing, okay, what does this actually require from us? How can we move into, not by surprise and not by just being pushed into one of these boxes, but how can we effectively manage our customer accounts so that it's profitable for us? Thereby, of course, we go through which type of purchasing processes do the customers apply, how does this relate to our way of selling, how should we be selling so that we actually work very well in tight and make a good fit with the customer's process. So that's what we're trying to achieve. And of course, value sales also focuses on the personal selling skills, how to make it more efficient for the customer, and also how to make it fun and how to create an organization which actually is prosperous and profitable, not only focusing on the short duration and short term, but also on the long term and the sustainability of the company and its key customers, of course. So that's in a few minutes what value sales is about. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.